All right, folks, we're going to get into two-way frequency tables today and kind of look at some analysis here. Here's what I'll tell you. You will see two-way frequency tables on the ear test here in a couple weeks. So be important to really pay attention here and hopefully grasp everything that we're looking at. So, hey, let's get into it. Starting off with two-way frequency tables, you'll probably want to pause the computer and go ahead and write this down. But two-way frequency tables are used to show frequencies of data from a survey or experiment in which the data are classified according to two variables. Okay, I think last year on the Algebra 1 test, you even had two-way frequency tables. I'm going to show you one here in just a second. Okay, so it says here, develop a two-way frequency table for the following problem. Valerie asked a random sample of 20 science teachers and math teachers whether they have been to the town's planetarium. She finds that 25 science teachers have been to the planetarium and 3 have not, while 20 math teachers have been to the planetarium and 22 have not. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write this down. My categories are going to be planetarium and then no planetarium. And then you're either in this survey a math teacher, I'm going to put them first, ha ha ha, or science teacher, or a math teacher that can't spell. Okay, so in taking a look at the numbers they gave us, okay, we know that there were 70 science teachers that had been to, and was it through, oh, sorry, I take that back, that was 70 total people. There were 25 science teachers that had been, and 3 that had not. Where there were 20 math teachers that had been, and 22 had not. Okay. Now within a frequency table, there are totals both vertically and horizontally. So if I put a total there and a total here, here's what we can do. Been to the planetarium, there are 45 total teachers that have in the survey and 25 that have not. Now the sum between those is 70, which is good because that's how many teachers were identified in the survey. For the math teachers, in total, there were 42 that were surveyed, and the science teachers, there were 28 that were surveyed. Again, in total, there were 70 teachers surveyed. Okay, so just something to be aware of. That's how that works out for the two-way frequency tables. All the columns and rows should add up to be the same amount as far as their total down here in the right-hand corner. Marginal frequencies. Frequencies reported in the totals row and the totals column. So the marginal frequencies, one way to think about this, the margins of your paper on the outside. So down here, the totals of both are the margins, okay? So marginal frequency. Joint frequency is reported on the interior of the table. So this right in here is your joint frequency. So if that term is ever used, you know, that's what they're referencing. So here's another two-way frequency table that's not all filled out. And this will probably be one of the ways it'll be on the air test. Data is collected from a random sample of customers at least 2 restaurants to find out if they paid cash or credit card. The data are shown in the two-way frequency table. Answer each question and tell whether you are using marginal frequency or joint frequency. Okay, so in total, here I got to find this value for Joe's Place. I'm going to say that there are 20. Okay, 20 plus 11 makes 31. Or 20 plus 28 or 20 plus 8 equals 28. Now 31 plus what equals 50? Well, that'd be 19. And 8 taken away from 19 is 11, so the total is 19. And 11 plus 11 is 22. And double check that, 28 plus 22 equals 50. Okay? So just that's how I would fill out that table if you know you have enough information. How many people are surveyed? I hope you said 50 down here in the right-hand column. How many customers at Donna's Diner paid with credit card? Donna's Diner, credit card. Of those surveyed, 11 did. How many customers paid with cash? And in total, paid by cash was 28. So 28 customers paid with cash. Okay? All right, now, in taking a look at the backside, it says here relative frequency. Okay, the relative frequency is the ratio of the number of observations in a total category, make that bigger there, to the total number of observations. Okay, and this can be written either as a fraction or a percent. Now, as a percent, I like to write these as percents. And so here's what I'm going to tell you. Those that use cash at Joe's Place would have been 20 people, 20 was right here, and 50 was the total. So 20 out of 50, which would give you a percentage of 40%. Okay, so again, where did I get that? If you look at the previous chart, it was 20 out of the 50. For the credit cards, there were 11 people that use credit cards, and so that gives you 22%. Okay, and if I added those up, 2011 make 31 out of the 50, which would make 62%. Okay, or again, 40 plus 22 equals 62. Okay. At Donna's Diner, there were 8 people who used cash out of the 50, and so that would be considered 16%. Credit cards at Donna's Diner were 11 out of the 50, which would be 22%. And if we add those two together, 19 out of 50 equals 38%, or 16 plus 22. If we add the 20 and 8, that gives you 28 out of 50, which is 56%. 11 plus 11 equals 22 out of 50, which would equal 44%. And then 50 out of 50 would equal 100%. Okay? So, I got a little off there. There we go. So hopefully that makes sense. You can either answer them with fractions or with percentages. I just think percentages clean it up a little bit. If you answer with a fraction, make sure you reduce all the fractions. Okay. So as we look at this, what is the probability? Maybe I'll just do this off to the side here. For number 1, what is the probability that a person surveyed used credit card? Okay. So if I look at using credit card, I'm going to say 44% of those surveyed use credit card. Okay, just taking that from the chart there. Number 2 says, what is the probability the person surveyed ate at Donna's Diner? Well, if we look here, Donna's Diner, 38% of those surveyed ate at Donna's Diner. What is the probability, or you could, going back to the original, sorry, I should probably say this. If you didn't have the percentages, you could always do the 19 that was here out of the 50, and that would give you the same thing. Okay. What is the probability the person surveyed uses cash or credit card? And if we add these two up together, 56 plus 44, that gives us 100% uses cash or credit card. Okay. Number 4, what is the probability the person surveyed ate at Joe's Place and Donna's Diner? Well, this unfortunately is an unknown piece of information if someone ate at both places. And so I'm either going to put 0% or unknown. And I would probably go with unknown because this is there's just not enough information out there to tell us if there were people that ate at both places. Okay. Now for 5, 6, and 7, I actually wrote these out and how they were stated. What's the probability that a person uses cash to play? So cash given that they ate at Joe's place. So I'm going to get Joe's. Okay. Now remember, when we have conditional probability here, the probability that they ate at Joe's place was 56%. The probability that they used cash and ate at Joe's place was 40%. And so if we work that out, hold on, Joe's place. Oh, I totally read that wrong. Sorry. Joe's place was 62%. So let's fix that. Let's make that 62%. There you go. If we divide that out, the chances that a person used cash, given that they went to Joe's place, is going to end up being 65%. Okay. For number 6, I did the same thing. What's the probability that they did not eat at Joe's place? So I'm going to use the not symbol. Joe's. Given that they used a credit card. Credit card. Okay. So if we look at that, the probability that someone used a credit card was 44%. The probability that they did not eat at Joe's place, if they didn't eat at Joe's place, where did they eat? They ate at Donna's. So I'm going to put 22%. And so this would be a 50% chance of selecting someone who did not eat at Joe's place, given that they used a credit card. For number 7, the very last one. What is the probability that a person used a credit card given that they did not eat at Joe's place? Okay. So again, if I look at this, the probability that someone ate at Joe's place was 62%. Of that portion, oh wait, we're looking at not Joe's place. So again, 44 or 38%. Donna's place. Slow down. Okay. Given that they, okay, so credit card and at Donna's place was 22%. And in total, that's 58%. Okay. So again, I hope you're picking up on how I want you to do conditional probability. Not conditional probability, but the two-way frequency tables. I know I had some of you ask questions about during the air test, and we'll look at these leading into the test in the next couple weeks. The wording was strange, right? Well, I hope that the wording is now a little more clear on how to interpret those conditional probability problems or even problems within the two-way frequency tables. So anyways, thanks for being a great audience, and we'll see you tomorrow.